Welcome back to the Into the Jungle podcast. My name is Jasmin Bell, joined alongside my co-host. I'll let him introduce himself.
I'm Dan Hawk. I'm the voice of Tiger Athletics, as well as an Aerovision producer covering all stories across the district.
That's awesome. And so we're joined alongside a few of my Aerovision family members, I'd like to say. I'll let you introduce your guys' selves as well.
My name's Abby Ferguson. I'm a senior. This is my third year in Aerovision.
How about you?
I'm Cherish Booth. I'm a senior, and this is my fourth year in Aerovision.
So we are all a part of Aerovision. That means that there has to be something dynamic about this program. And so today we're just here to talk a little bit about Aerovision, dive deep into some of the things that people don't necessarily know that takes place behind the scene. And so we'll jump right into it. What was your process like joining Aerovision?
So I actually did online school my freshman year, and I was looking for a class to take when I came in the middle of the year. And Aerovision was an elective, so I was like, oh, this looks fun. I'll join this class. And then I liked it, and then I was like, okay, I want to join it my sophomore year. So I took Creative Media Production 1, and then I liked it again, so I was like, okay, I want to take Creative Media Production 2. Then I took it again, and I was like, okay, I really like this, but there was no more classes to take, so I was like, okay, I'll be an intern.
How about you, Abby?
I've actually wanted to be in Aerovision since my sister went to the high school back in 2010.
Wow.
We were touring, finding her classes and stuff, and I ended up walking by the studio, and I was like, I want to be in there. That's where I want to be whenever I go to high school.
That's absolutely awesome. I know for me, I tracked the class down as soon as I saw the first episode of GMBA. I was like, I have to be in this. So yeah, that's awesome.
You know, that's the most unique part, what you kind of just said, walking by the studio, and, the podcast is back here, so you might not see that, but you do see the studio when you walk by. How much of that did that spark all three of your guys' interest, just wanting to see, hey, what is this? Because this is not something you see at a high school. Jazz, you can start.
I know for me, we recently have been touring OSU and OU to see what their visual productions look like and what their studios look like. Broken Arrow is just a state-of-the-art program, if I'm being honest. I don't see any other high schools producing at the high level and high quality content that we're producing. Nobody really touches us. So,
what about you, Abby?
Exactly what Jasmine was saying. It's just it's top notch. A lot of the college I've looked at, it's just how do I find some place that even compares to this?
Yeah, it's difficult.
Yeah. At first, I didn't think I would be interested in Aerovision and the news and film and stuff. But after I came and looked at the studio at Tiger Camp, the tour they give us at the beginning of the year, I was like, oh, this is so cool. I want to be in these classes.
For all of you, what has been the most difficult part of the journey being in Aerovision?
Honestly, the hardest thing is just we work with different people every year and in different episodes and instances, and just finding the way to work with different people and in different environments. And
yeah, I know for me, joining sophomore year, we had a phenomenal senior class, and all of our senior class members really helped to kind of undergird us and push us to really grow in our creative talents. And so after they graduated, it was wow, we just became the new upperclassmen. How do we assist the underclassmen and the way that they helped us out to now where we're able to produce our own content?
For me, what I would say the hardest part is, it's kind of silly, but so I do sports, and having to learn the game of each sport was really hard.
Football, basketball, baseball.
Yeah, because I didn't know anything about it when I first started, so I had to teach myself and understand, and that was the hardest part. And then asking for help was also hard.
Yeah, I hear you. And so you kind of talked a little bit about sports. Abby, what do you do in Aerovision?
I mostly do things on camera. So I prioritize in big news because that's just my favorite thing. But I've also done hosting a little bit, but mostly stuff in front of the camera.
So after Aerovision, what I'm going to continue to do in college is still sports media. My career that I really want to be is a ESPN NBA sideline reporter.
Wow. Heard it here first. That's awesome.
I love the big goals. I mean, that's kind of where it starts, though, is, you look at this as just a class, but it's a career move as well. I mean, is that kind of what got you in the mindset of, hey, I can really turn into something big with this?
Yeah, it actually took me a while to want to to see a future in sports media, because I was well, I don't want to work in news. And that was my biggest I don't want to do this class because I don't want to go into news. When I first started doing sports media last year, I didn't expect to want to continue. I was just okay, this is a high school thing, and then I'm going to go to college to do business or something.
Yeah.
And then being a few months away from going to college, I was okay, no, I love this. I want to continue to do this. Yeah.
Now, through trials and tribulations, because there is truly a lot, and one thing we say a lot here in the studio is technology will always technology. Or I don't even know how to say it, but technology will always act some kind of way. And so through trials and tribulations, what keeps you guys coming back?
Honestly, just the people and the environment. This is a once in a lifetime class and opportunity. And Very thankful for all of it, but I don't come back just for like being in front of the camera or like to get 5 minutes of fame or whatever on like the episode for the week. It's really just like the people you get to meet and the experiences you get are truly one of a kind.
I feel like the opportunity, like what keeps me coming back is the opportunity. Like what other school gets to do what we do?
Right.
Who else gets to do what we do? And then part of the reason I wanted to be an intern this year was so I can like help teach the underclassmen so they can continue to do what we do and make it great and make people want to join.
Yeah, Abby, you just said something so dynamic. You kind of talked about being in front of the school, in front of the camera for that 5 minutes on the weekly episodes. How does that kind of impact your guys' journey? Because I know for me, I was a little bit nervous first jumping on a sophomore year, being an anchor and a host for the show. And so how did that affect you at first?
I mean, I was always a little nervous for it, but I always knew that's what I wanted to do. And it was really nice seeing that like dream that I had from like, you know, so long ago whenever I walked by the studio, like getting to actually be in front of the camera. And like, I was that little kid that made all the YouTube videos all the time. And I was like, oh, I'm going to be famous. But just actually being able to like put that into something that's like real world, like what I can do in the future.
Mm-hmm.
For me, I got to ask all three of you, what suggestions would you give to students that want to get into AeroVision? And then also like how much has just technology changed everything, the way we podcasting, you know, social media, everything has changed from when you guys first went to high school?
Well, I know for me, technology has definitely shifted. Sophomore year, we didn't have this amazing podcast set that we do have now. But then also we've gone from switching setups for hosting multiple times and really just being able to thrive in a community, in a classroom that's like conducive for creativity, meaning that no idea is a small idea. And so I know for me, just like it's shifted a lot, but just being able to adjust really quickly has really helped me out.
Yeah, I was in the first AeroVision class they had at the Freshman Academy. And it was very just kind of like, let's work with what we got. It was nowhere near as big as this is. But just basically just being adaptable is the biggest thing I can say to be ready for whenever you want to take these classes, is like you never know what really to expect.
Yeah.
For me, I also took the first like AeroVision class like as a freshman, and we were like filming off of like our phones and using like the Apple like headphones as like a microphone. So from going from that to like
thousands
the podcast,
of dollars of equipment,
like this stuff coming in here, and for sports, I was like, we use different microphones now where they don't have to connect to like in the studio, so I'm able to go out to like the football field and talk about football. I'm able to go to the field house and talk about basketball. So I feel like technology, it's going to keep getting better. It's going to keep looking better. So that's something to look forward to.
This is going to wrap up our first segment of the Into the Jungle podcast. We're joined alongside Cherish and Abby. Dan Hawk alongside me. We'll be back for another segment here in just a moment.
At Ascension St. John, you'll find advanced heart care, brain and spine care, and personalized cancer care. And we excel just as much in the things that can't be measured. Listening more closely, caring more compassionately.
Hi, and welcome back to the Into the Jungle podcast. I'm joined by my co-host, Jasmin Bell, along with Abby Ferguson and Cherish Booth. I got to ask you guys, how do you feel like you've left your mark with AeroVision, and who's someone that it kind of assisted you along the way? We'll start with you, Cherish.
How I feel that I've left my mark on AeroVision, I mean, I don't know. I show up every single day. I'm ready to do something new. I try to find new ways to like new content to make. I actually changed sports, like the look of sports for GMBA this year. I didn't like how it looked where it was just like every single week it was one person standing behind a desk in the studio. So I tried to change it to make it look more appealing and interesting. Someone that's helped me, like the person that's helped me the most is definitely Miss Dildine. She went to college for sports media. I joined her class last year. It was actually on accident. I was just put into the class. And then I kind of just was like, oh, I want to do this. And she saw potential and then helped me get to where I needed to be.
What about you, Jess?
I know for myself, I would have to say someone who's helped me would definitely be sophomore year. I started a segment called, what was it called? I think it was
For the Culture.
Yes. There we go. It was called For the Culture. And it was my segment that basically was just including the student body coming into the studio and just trying different foods, like who has the best French fries, McDonald's, Chick-fil-A, or Arby's. And so it was small segments like that. But I feel like Olivia really helped to encourage me to stay creative. And if I'd have to choose a teacher, I would definitely say our teacher, Mr. Hurling, Hurling. Mr. Hurling doesn't let me slack in any areas whatsoever and has always encouraged me to push in leadership. But concerning like leaving my mark, I would definitely say I felt like I've brought a different flow of like creative segments to the table. I also feel like I tried my best to really prepare those underclassmen to get ready, to take on the burden of being able to produce an episode in 4 days, every single week, every single semester. It can be a lot. And so just encouraging them within their talents to stay confident, to get ready to do something this grand.
What about you, Abby?
Yeah, no, I heard at the beginning of the semester this saying that's the more you give, the more you get. And I think that we get caught up as seniors as like, how much can I get left out of this more than what are we leaving behind? So I've been really working just in like everything this year, just what I can like leave, how much like help and guidance I can leave for people, helping people through like, you know, fears of being on camera or like how to edit or just making, like you had said, like just changing things up while we're here. And it's like, oh, well, I was the one who started that, you know?
Yeah. And so people don't know all the time, what does it look like for us to come into the studio and prepare to record for a Friday where we have to get hosting and just a bunch of things done, especially those days where we come back from break and we have a day or just 2 days to produce an entire episode with segments and all. And so what do those days look like?
I mean, honestly, a lot of like whenever we'll have like, they used to be Mondays, but now they're Fridays. Those are the most challenging days to have to get in and like we're out of school, but like we're still going. A lot of people come in during like lunch hours or like extra time that they have to set up the studio, and it's just all hands on deck. Like how many people can be helping get teleprompter and Telecaster and the camera's not tilted that way.
Right, yeah. There's a lot of intricacies that go behind the scenes. How about you, Cherish? What's the day in a life look like for you getting ready to record sports, for example?
So we actually record sports every Monday, and the segment, like the whole episode actually it's supposed to be done by 1:33 on Tuesday.
1:33 on the dot, guys.
Yes,
Segments and all.
We film all of the sports on Monday. Big News gets filmed on Monday, so we have to share the studio some. Sometimes it's actually kind of hard, like when we want to add in like little, like player of the week, player of the game, or interviews with an athlete or something. But we get it done.
Yeah, I know for me
it's just hectic.
Right. It is hectic some Fridays and kind of
welcome to that news life.
Oh my goodness, Dan, you have some experience in the news world, and so you're kind of just listening to us, and you're like, yeah, you haven't.
Yeah, 1:33 deadline. That's easy.
He's like, that's an easy day for me. I know for me though, coming and getting ready to host, that is an extensive process, especially if we have like 1 day to prepare to host. That means probably over break I was working on finding content for scripts, communicating with who you're hosting with, getting ready to get in the studio, making sure you know your lines, and making sure like as the talent you are effective so everyone else can just flow around you. And so you said like working together, that's a big part. We have a class of almost 30 kids this year, and this has to be one of the largest classes he's had. And so working with, like you said earlier, new people, how can you be creative with people who may not share the same ideas as you? It's really, it's a challenge sometimes.
Now, Abby, I got to ask you, you're part of Yearbook and Aerovision. How does Yearbook help you with Aerovision and intertwine them together to help you lead yourself for the future?
It's honestly opened me up to like more things that are going on around the school, because Yearbook also, you're trying to keep up with everything that's going on and make sure you're getting the right stuff on the pages, and it's helped me learn how to use the equipment better too, because we use a lot of the similar equipment in both. But also being in both of these classes has helped me decide what I want to do more like in college and in life that I wasn't really planning on enjoying or liking until I was in these classes. And I was like, oh, okay, this is something I want to do later on.
And Cherish, for you became an intern this year. So what changed for you after you kind of switched over into the intern role?
So one thing I've noticed is I kind of have more like creative content
freedom. Yeah, more creative freedom.
Yeah. So I like, but I also enjoy it because like I can throw an idea out there and it's like, okay, do it. And I'm like, oh, okay.
Yeah.
And then I do it and people are like, oh, that was good. Like Versus, like that was scary.
Volleyball, yeah.
We don't need to talk about it. I like being an intern. I've done, obviously, we're interns to help like the underclassmen. That's been a little challenging, but
I mean, yeah, but also at the same time for you, you had that experience of like creative media production 1 and then 2, and then finally getting into your intern years. And so like for me, I just deep dived into GMBA and did not know what to expect, but it really helped me to equip for like when I became an intern, kind of like you were saying, creative freedom is something that we do have. And kind of for Mr. Hurling, I'm like, hey, I have an idea for get to know your faculty. And he's like, okay, go record it. And whether that's 4 or 5 hours, like getting that stuff done, post editing, whatever that looks like, just really he really encourages us to push, to do our very best, and kind of like Miss Dildine, pushing you to get ready to dive into your college and academic career after high school. So that's going to wrap up our second segment of the Into the Jungle podcast. We're getting ready to send it off to another break. When we come back, Cherish and Abby, we have some fun games in store, so you guys stay tuned. We'll be back here in just a second.
Tulsa Bone and Joint, Northeast Oklahoma's sports medicine experts. We are pleased to help you and the athletes in your life with a number of surgical and non-surgical options. Tulsa Bone and Joint is proud to serve as team orthopedist for local high schools such as Broken Arrow, Owasso, Sapulpa, Cascia Hall, and Bishop Kelly. We're also proud to be team orthopedist for FC Tulsa. Tulsa Bone and Joint, moving life forward.
Welcome back to the Into the Jungle podcast. My name is Jasmin Bell, joined alongside Dan Hawk as my co-host. We have Abby Ferguson and Cherish Booth in the studio with us today, talking a little bit about AeroVision. Now, we just got to know you guys inside of your AeroVision role. We're going to play a fun game I like to call Guess That Opposite. Essentially, we have 30 seconds. You guys have to say as many as you can. So if I say big, you guys say what?
Small.
Easy. Good job, Cherish. All right, so you guys have 30 seconds. You want to try to guess as many as you possibly can, okay? So I'm going to start the timer, and Dan is going to keep our score. Are
Who's
you guys
going
ready?
first?
We're going to have Abby go first.
Okay.
Oh gosh.
All right. 3, 2, 1. Salt.
Pepper.
Black.
White.
Big.
Small.
Cheap.
Expensive.
Clean.
Dirty.
Deep.
Shallow.
Good. Down.
Up.
Early.
Late.
Easy.
Hard. Difficult.
Yep. Far. Sorry.
Close.
Okay. Fast.
Slow.
Fat.
Skinny. Small. Short.
Synonym.
Skinny. Thin.
Thin. There we go. Okay. Full.
Empty.
Awesome. Okay. So how many points was that?
You're gonna make me count. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 13.
13.
Okay.
Okay. You went
gonna be
from
hard
8
to
to
beat.
13. Okay. All right, Cherish, are you ready? Let's see if you're able to beat Abby. Okay.
Okay.
All right. 3, 2, 1. All right. Good.
Bad.
Happy.
Sad.
Heavy.
Light.
Okay. Here.
What?
Here.
Like here?
Yeah.
Or like here in
Here.
person?
Like point here.
Gone.
Nope. Okay.
Absent.
No. We'll go to the next one. High.
Low.
Okay. In.
Out.
Hot.
Cold.
Inside.
Outside.
Fun.
Boring.
Yep. Light.
Dark.
Long.
Small. Short.
Loud.
Quiet.
Sure. Many.
Huge.
Okay, stop. How many was that?
She got
12.
easy ones.
Oh,
Well,
we were close.
oh my gosh. Wait, does that mean Abby's our winner?
By
Well,
one,
she
but
got 13.
Go, Abby. Yay. We wanted to try to use those sound effects, but okay, that's awesome. Abby, congratulations. How do you guys feel that game was? It wasn't too hard. It makes you think a little bit. Just makes you think a tad bit. But yeah, so back to AeroVision. For people who are considering joining AeroVision, what are a few words that you can give to kind of encourage them to go ahead and make that next step?
I would just say go for it. Because for me, going into AeroVision, I didn't know what I wanted to do. Like, I didn't know if I wanted to do big news, sports, the other classes, filmmaking, social media. I didn't know what to do. So it's easier to like join it, just go for it, and then find where you fit once you're in. But you have to get in. You have to go for it.
Yep.
yeah, exactly what she's saying. There's so many different AeroVision classes that you can choose from and you can take. And even if it's just a little bit of an interest of yours, like you never know where that little branch is going to go off into and could be something really big that you really like.
I want to thank you guys for joining me today on the Into the Jungle podcast. Any last words for the people?
Just join it, you know. That's really all I can
Do
say.
the thing. How about you, Cherish?
Just join it. The teachers are great. They're going to help you. The other students are going to help you find your place, help you with your confidence. You don't have to be on camera. AeroVision isn't just being on camera. There's a lot of behind the scenes, so just go for it.
I agree. Now, you guys make sure to tune in next Tuesday as well. We'll be having a podcast discussing FCCLA. It's going to be awesome. Make sure to tune in because staying in the know has never sounded this good.